I'm not dropping any glass this morning. I'm down at Slapton Ley this morning on the South Devon coast. It's a natural lake which is just off the beach. It's a beautiful place. It's Sunday morning. We've had quite a bit of rain over the last few days, and the conditions are gorgeous this morning. Sun's just coming up. Really nice morning to be out. This place is full of wildlife, and I come down here quite often to shoot birds and things like swans, coots, crested grebes, that sort of thing. But this morning I'm down here to talk about filtration. Now, I've been a filter user from the year dot. I've been a photographer now for must be nearly 30 years now, believe it or not, and right from the beginning, right from the outset, I've used filtration. I've used all kinds of brands, all the ones you can think of, some good, some bad, but they've always been a feature in my work. The filters for me are just a tool, another tool in my sort of photographic arsenal that help me get what I want in a picture. I use them to control the light rather than colour the light. Now, over the years I've used many brands. There's always new stuff coming onto the market, but nothing for quite a while has kind of raised my interest, if you like, until recently. The company called Kase Filters, they've approached me and asked me to try out their filter system. To be honest, I'm surprised and quite excited with this product, and so this morning I'm going to go through the filters that they've sent me and give you a rundown of what I've got and what I think of them. And yeah, so far I'm very impressed. Gone are the days where there were just one or two companies that dominated the filter world. These days there's quite a few companies out there that make these photographic filters. Back in the day I was shooting film, and I remember using certain brands of filters, and I'd end up with horrible, gruesome, horrible blue colour cast in the scene. There were these awful sort of tobacco grads and stuff like that. Those days are gone, thankfully. So these days the filters that I use are more to control the light rather than colour it. So to be honest, if you can see in a picture that the filter's been used, that kind of defeats the object. So Kase Filters, they've sent me a kit, pretty much everything I need in the kit. The first thing to mention is the new holder. It's a K9 case holder. This is a basic system holder. I'll go into this in more detail, but this thing is ingenious, even though it's quite a simple design. In terms of filtration, I've got their polariser. It's a magnetic polariser. I've got a set of grads in various strengths and a set of ND filters in various strengths. So I'll go through each of these in turn and hopefully demonstrate these with some pictures as well. Now, this new holder from Kase, the K9, it's again, like I said, it's very simple design, but it did kind of grab my attention when I first got it out of the box. First and foremost, I must say, it's very easy to set up. It took me literally minutes to get all the system together and get it all set up on the camera. Very simple design. Works in a similar way to other systems where you've got your ring on the front of the lens, various different sizes. The difference with these rings is you've got a rotating part to the ring on the front. I'll go into this in a bit. And the holder just clips on, and then you secure the holder with the little button or the little knob on the side, and this one tightens up once you've got your filters in place, stops it moving around. First thing I thought when I took this out of the box, this little red knob here, I thought that's going to come off and fall off, but it doesn't. It stops when it gets to a certain point there, so it must be designed not to fall out. And then that, as you turn that up, that little clip secures to the ring, so the holder's nice and secure. Also on this holder, you've got at the back is a felt gasket. This is used for the ND filters, rather than having the gasket on the filters themselves. It's on the holder. And then on the side here, you've got this little wheel. Now this takes up with these serrated rings on your adapter rings here, and once it's in place, again I'll go through this in a bit more detail, but this actually rotates your polariser. So yeah, all in all, a very simple design. I've got 2 filter slots on this holder, so I can use 2 filters and a polariser. I believe there are more slots you can put on the front, but that's normally all I'll use, is just 2 filters at a time and a polariser. It's worth mentioning as well that this whole system you can use on lenses right out to, I've used them on my 17mm, but I believe you can use them right out to 14mm without any vignetting. This is down purely to the size and the profile of the holder, and also the way the polariser is placed as well, again, which I'll go into more detail as we go through this video. The filters are supplied in a nifty little case, which is quite good. I quite like the design of this. It's got plenty of storage pockets inside, nice zip up. It seems to be waterproof to a point, so yeah, pretty good. So I've got the polariser. This is probably the thinnest polariser I've ever seen. It's pretty thin and really lightweight as well, and it's magnetic. All their filters that are supplied, these are 100 by 150mm. These are all glass filters. They're toughened glass as well, so apparently they did send me a couple of drop test pieces of glass, but I'm not dropping any glass this morning. But I'll take their word for it. But apparently they are shatterproof and drop proof, unless of course you drop it on one of the edges and it catches something. There are options where it will break. But yeah, all glass filters, nice quality. And again, as I mentioned before, the ND filters, the gasket is on the holder rather than on the filter. But the ND filters is worth mentioning, they're full size as well. So when they're in the holder, they're the same size as your grads. So if you're trying to remove one of these, which is at the back of the filter holder, makes it a lot easier to get out because it's full size. And of course the lens adapter rings, very similar sort of design, but they've got this added bonus of having this movable serrated ring at the front of them. So these come in various different sizes. They also do like a step up ring, so if you've got different thread sizes on your lenses, it'll step up to the standard ring size, which I believe this one is a 77mm straight onto the lens, but I think it's 82. So the thing that really grabbed my attention was this polariser and the whole way it attaches to the lens. Now I've got my holder, K9 holder, and the polariser, and the attachment ring, the adapter ring, is on the front of the lens. And this is magnetic. So basically what you can do, you can use the polariser on its own without the holder, just like that. And obviously take that off again. So it literally just clips on magnetically, and then once it's on, you can rotate it on that ring. Now, this is ingenious. I know it's very simple, but now with the holder, I can now, because the polariser is rear facing, I can literally put the holder on over the top of the polariser. Now that little serrated knob on the side, you can now rotate the polariser like this. Now obviously when you're using filters on top of this at the front of the holder, Your polariser is always at the back, so you can still rotate this, and again with gloves on it's quite easy still. It's quite a nice sort of large enough ring to be able to move even with gloves on. So again, you can move your holder around. Your polariser stays in place while this is moving around. Again, tighten that up. But the beauty of this is once you finish with this, you can either unclip, rather than having to basically take all the filters out and get to the polariser, just take the holder out, and there you go, there's your polariser. Now obviously if I take the filter out of the front, and I've just got my holder on, you can also, there's little indents in the filter holder there, and you can just unclip that and your polariser comes off. It's a very simple design, but it just saves so much hassle. There we go. Just such a brilliant design, and that's the one thing that's kind of jumped out to me straight away with this system. So I'm just packing up my gear to move on to the first shoot location and hoping the sun comes out. So I keep these attached to my lens, the adapter rings. They also come supplied with these nice little red caps. So once those are on, just protects the front of your lens. Stops, if you've got different lenses with the rings on already, just makes it quicker to change the filter system around. So caps are nice, they fit nice and just protect the front of the lens. Right, let's move on. Another important thing for me personally with filters is I shoot film as well as digital. I've got the digital set up with me today, but yeah, film, it's got a tendency to show up nasty colour casts if you're not careful, especially with slide film, transparency film, in particular Fuji Velvia that I use quite a bit. Now, one thing that's important to me is with the neutral density filters and their neutral density graduate filters as well, is that they are neutral. It's very important not to have any kind of colour cast in the shot. So I'm very interested to see how this comes across today. I will be running these filters through my my film setup as well. Okay, so I've got my polariser on. I'm undercover here, so I'm not too worried about graduate filters or NDs or anything at the moment. Just the polariser is going to really sort of make this green jump out. And I've got this nice composition here with the boardwalk running through the greenery with the trees coming in at an angle. So polariser, yeah, pretty good. It's like I said just earlier, it's simple design, but kind of ingenious at the same time. That's the magnetic side of things. Just makes life so much easier, especially when you're swapping filters around and, you know, changing the holder and stuff like that. So yeah, big tick on the polariser, pretty good. So the forecast is going a bit pear-shaped. So I'm going to walk back along to the edge of the lake. See if I can set a shot up there. Now, obviously, I shoot black and white as well as colour, and filters are just as important, if not more important, with black and white than they are with colour. The weather's taken a turn for the worst. A few chinks of blue up above me, but not too promising. So, as you can see and hear, I've come over to the shoreline. This is Slapton Sands. I've got a nice composition set up on this section of the horizon here. Nice minimalist hopefully black and white I'm going for. And this is just the lens, no filters at all. It's about 60th of a second, I think, so it's a fairly nice picture, but nothing special. I wanted something a bit more minimal and yeah, just a bit more simplified. So I've decided to use one of the Kase ND filters. It's an ND 1000, which is a 10-stop. I've also got a 4-stop and a 6-stop as well. But the 10-stop is giving me about 30-second exposure, which is enough to take that. It's quite breezy down here at the moment, especially out on the ocean. It's smoothing the sea out, making it nice and flat, calm, and adding to that sort of minimalist effect that I want. I'm going to do a little comparison now with the ND filters, starting off with the weakest one, which is a 4-stop, then going on to the 6-stop and then the 10-stop. Very simple composition, but I hope this kind of demonstrates the difference between the filters. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty impressed with these. I'd thoroughly recommend them. I know I've only been using them for a couple of weeks, but I normally can tell within a few days whether or not something's going to work or not. And this, I've got to admit, this is pretty good. I just love the way the holder and the polariser work. That for me is a main selling point. And obviously the overall quality is great. Yeah, highly recommended. So I'm going to pack up and head home in a bit, but I'll leave you with a few pictures that I've taken with the Kase filters. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'll put a link to Kase's website in the description field, and also a link at the top here for their they've got a YouTube channel as well, so please check that out. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video and the pictures and the results from these using these filters. So until next time, thank you for watching and see you again.